What the heck is going on, everybody? Welcome to your very first tutorial in iOS development with Swift. Now, in this tutorial series, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to create awesome iOS apps, and that includes the iPad, the iPod Touch, the iPhone, any apps that you want to make. Well, you are in luck because this is the greatest tutorial series ever created. Now, before we get started, I want to mention a couple things. First of all, what is Swift? I never heard of this thing called Swift before. I'm kind of familiar with computer programming, but I don't know what the heck's going on there. Well, whenever Apple first allowed developers to make like iOS apps for the iPhone or whatever, they used a programming language called Objective-C. But now, just a few months ago, they came out with a brand new language called Swift, and it's pretty much the future of iOS development. So before we get into, adding all the buttons and stuff on your apps, I'm going to teach you guys this computer programming language, and then once we learn the basics of that, we can move on to making cool like iPad apps or iPhone apps, whatever you want to do. So now that that is out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I didn't want to give you guys, like a huge long intro about the history of it, but just a little quick info. So the first thing you need to do whenever you want to create iOS apps is you need an Apple ID. And if you go to this website right here, developer.apple.com, you probably already have one if you're working with Mac. This is where you can pretty much set up all your account stuff. So the first thing you need is an Apple ID. So if you click this button, an Apple ID is pretty much just, I don't know, like any, like Google has you make an account, Yahoo has you make an account. Well, this is like Apple's account for their main overall everything. So of course you just fill in your first name, your email, password, typical stuff right here. I actually already have an Apple ID, and like I said, I'm guessing you do too. Oh, someone's texted me right in the middle of my tutorial. I might as well just go ahead and read it. What does this say? It is my mom, and she says dinner at her house tonight. They're having meatballs. So looks like I'll be eating meatballs tonight. Cool. All right. So now that you have an Apple ID, again, I didn't want to talk you through that because it's like type in your name, type in your last name. You guys can figure that out. But now what we need to do is we need to create a developer account. Now, whenever we have a developer account, what we can do with this is we can download all the cool tools like Xcode. And Xcode is it's just like a really fancy text editor that you can use to write your code. And there's also like the iOS SDK that we need. And this is pretty much the software development kit specific to iOS apps. So all the stuff tailored to developing like iPhone and iPad apps. So those are two things that we need to get. So let's go ahead and sign in now and figure out how to do that. So sign in. All my stuff's there. Developer, cool. Let me just sign in. Okay, yep, I want to become a Apple developer. And alright, so I definitely read all that. I know it looked like I wasn't reading it, but trust me guys, I read all of it. Speed reading 101. Alright, so just agree to this and okay. Alright, first question. What role best describes you? Probably, I don't know, like incredibly good looking? Do they? Oh, they don't have that one. So let's just say that I am a software engineer. When did you start developing for Apple platforms? We'll say pick whatever one you want. Now, what are you developing? I'm only been showing you guys how to develop iOS apps, anything for mobile handheld devices. So I'm just going to click apps right there. What you can also do with these tools is you can just develop like regular software for the Mac. Like, I don't know, like programs like Skype and, like photo editors, whatever you want. So if you want to do any of that, then you can fill out whatever. But again, this tutorial series is just for iPhone and iOS apps. So, okay, what other platforms do you develop for? Android and Microsoft Windows. Do a little bit of Java on the side. All right, now register. Thank you for registering. You are now able to sign into the website. So hit continue and check this out.